So we've lived, of course, through a very difficult period. The world's economy has been under a great deal of stress over the last couple of years in particular. And what we've gone through is, in addition to the problems associated with the recession, lots of evidence that climate change is going even faster than the scientists believed it might be. At the same time, what happened over the last 2 years also indicates, I think, that some underlying changes around more of a digital economy, more of a drive towards clean technology, as the picture of President Lula and President Hu of China on the slide shows, new partnerships between economies that really should not be called emerging economies anymore. China, Brazil, India have emerged and are playing a more significant role in the world. Actually, I think the better term for what we've been through in the last 2 years is the great acceleration, because these underlying changes have actually been sped up by the recession. Thinking about the environmental challenges we face, thinking about coming out of a recession and how we build more sustainable, in an economic sense, more sustainable prosperity. But also, and this is really important because this is one of the reasons why innovation is so important, we have within our grasp the ability to deliver prosperity for more of the world's people than ever before in human history. The last 25 years, more people have moved out of poverty, by a lot of estimates, 500 million people, almost 10% of the planet, than at any other similar period in human history. So that's a great, great accomplishment, and that has come at the time when the market economy has become the dominant model that we use. So we have huge threats, environmental threats, threat of disruption, security threats, but we have the great opportunity to build a fairer and more prosperous planet than ever before. And that will only happen if business plays the role innovating for a sustainable economy. The world has changed in fundamental ways, and business is both an architect of this change and also having to respond to a lot of changes. China Mobile is a fascinating company because it has about 500 million subscribers. It's the biggest cell phone company in China. It's got more subscribers than there are people in either the United States or the European Union. And they've basically hit a wall in terms of their subscriber base in the big cities in China. So they're now looking at their rural markets, and they're trying to bring energy to rural markets. So they figured out that their transmission towers are a good place not only to transmit radio signals for phone calls, but also to generate power. So they're doing that in the hinterlands of China, which suffer from great energy poverty. They're creating goodwill in these areas, and they're building their subscriber base in a market that is very quickly deregulating. An example from India, ICICI Bank, it's the second biggest bank and the second biggest economy in the world, and they're creating mobile banking services because we know that most people in India, in other emerging markets, don't access the internet through computers, they do through phones. And many of the people in rural areas don't have banking services, so ICICI Bank is trying to meet that need. And the impact of this is immense because there are about 600 people living in rural India, which is precisely 10% of human populations. This is not about altruistic or philanthropic instinct. This is about meeting a need of people who are not really able to participate in the formal economy, while this company is finding ways to meet new markets. There's a woman in India, or in the United States, she's of Indian background, and she started a project actually just a year and a couple of weeks ago called the Uniform Project, where she said she was going to wear the same black dress. She had 7 of them, though, so don't get worried. So one for each day of the week, and she would use different things to make it look a little bit different each day, and she would just wear those 7 dresses for an entire year. And she did this, and she publicized this through the Uniform Project, which eBay has adopted and publicized as well, as an example to get at something which I think is very important, which is that innovation is not only something that companies are thinking about, it's something that we as consumers have to be thinking about, because whether it's food waste or whether it's buying that 6th DVD player or what have you, we have an economy that is heavily reliant on more and more use of more and more natural resources, and that is something that it contributes a great deal to the unsustainability of the economy that we've got. So here is, I don't know that the little black dress is going to save the world, but here is an example of someone who's thinking about doing something to try to illustrate how we can all make changes in our daily life. I don't wear more than 7 little black dresses in a given year now. I've learned something from this. And to use less, to help stimulate demand for more sustainable products, to focus consumer attention on companies like Nike and others who are trying to address this question of how we deliver more value while using fewer natural resources, because ultimately that's a crucial question. Huge challenges and huge opportunities, and the companies that innovate, and we're going to hear a couple of great examples from my colleagues on the panel. The companies that innovate are going to be the big winners as the world changes, and the companies that don't are going to be left behind.